So, this was the background music to Rygar, the classic NES game released in 1987
by Tecmo.
Super Bowl. And this is part of our random classic video game review.
This is our new little theme we have going. We're going to review totally random. Literally, we're going to scroll through a list of NES games, pick one, and be like, okay, we're reviewing this. Whether it's shitty, not shitty, or just kind of shitty.
Or in this case, Rygar. Now, the story for Rygar. Do you want to tell them the story for Rygar, Alexander Swipe?
Yeah, this is off the back of the box, because otherwise, playing this game, you would have no idea what the story is. So we're just going to read it back of the box. So, Rygar. You and Rygar, the legendary warrior of Argul, must defeat the evil king and his army of dangerous beasts. With powers and weapons from the Indora war gods, you go into battle with Rygar.
It's up to you! The enemies are strong, the Terran treacherous, and the challenge is difficult. The sun is setting and Rygar is depending on you.
Rygar's exploits were once confined to the arcades, but now he's battling for the forces of evil everywhere. Join forces with Rygar!
Once upon... Alright, so let's get started. So the story, it's like not big of a deal that in the game you don't really know the story to me because...
They don't even mention story in the game.
No, yeah, but that's how the games were back there. You had to read the instruction book or the back of the box to know what is your purpose in life. And in this case, to know your purpose as Rygar.
Word. So, tell me, Bardiya, how's it... Alright, so story-wise, I'm going to start with story. What were your feelings? How did that go?
Well, like I said, like back then, I don't really care about this story. I just like play along and...
We're talking about 1987.
Yeah.
He was like a month.
I was
in game.
As long as like it kind of like fits in or whatever, like that's cool with me. Like in Mario, you were like supposedly some plumber saving some princess from like turtle. You know what? Like stories weren't that important to me back then. I was a kid. I was just playing games.
So by 1987 standards, the story is fine, but by today's story, it's like non-existent.
Well, yeah, obviously, if you release a game today and they just like throw you in and go bang, 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 bang,
and it's like, okay, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that sounds legit. So let's talk about gameplay. It's not a story. How does it play gameplay wise?
Gameplay. It's an NES game. You got two buttons: jump and attack, and you got like you upgrade your weapon to a grappling hook later on, and you just like can.
So it does kind of have some sort of upgrade, or like you can get new weapons.
Yeah, it's like it's a mix action / RPG.
That was
you upgrade up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It felt. I don't know. It was kind of. It was kind of fun. Like it was, it felt pretty fluid. It didn't seem kind of too buggy at all. You can also jump on enemies and they'll just kind of stop but they won't die. Or you can just hit them, but if you hit them and kill them, pretty much like a second after they die, a new one reappears in its place. So there's no point in even killing any of the enemies. Yes. You might as well just jump over them, since they're usually pretty slow. It was pretty, the enemies weren't hard.
It's really one of those games where you gotta keep moving, kind of like Kid Icarus. You can't just like kill every enemy on the screen and then just like, okay, move slowly. You just gotta keep moving. And the one thing that really bugged me about the game, and that's again like because of back then they were limited as far as technology, but the enemies, they really appear like last minute. Like you're just moving, all of a sudden the guy appears right in front of you.
The fucking guy.
The fucking it appears just right in front of you and hits you, and yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty lame.
Yeah.
Okay. Graphics wise, pretty good looking game.
Pretty good.
It's not bad. Pretty vibrant colors.
The background were nice.
Obviously, it's only an 8-bit game, so you can't expect a lot. But as far as technology wise and their what they had at the time is pretty good. It has sort of like a side-scrolling view, and then there's kind of a top-down view in some other parts of the game.
That reminded me of Contra.
So it was kind of like a little bit of
throbbing is the word you're looking for.
It's pretty throbbing.
Yeah, and the music also was pretty cool. Like Dun, 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 dun.
Here's some.
No.
Wait,
the volume's down.
Let me turn up the volume. Let's get an idea. That part kind of sounds weird, but it's not bad. It's kind of
87. And it varies. It's not one of the back then you had lots of games that all the levels hear the same song. Here every level is like the same thing.
So we'll give them props for that.
Props, sure. Tecmo.
Anywho, oh brother. Oh, what a bonanza. Anyway, what are we gonna talk about?
Tom Tolbert?
Total lack of online multiplayer drove me crazy.
That was outrageous. Like, at least in this day and age, would expect Rumble support. That's what I'm saying. Rumble support.
They didn't take advantage of the NES
online leaderboards. Where the fuck? Come on, Tecmo.
Tecmo, come on. But besides that, for a game from 1987, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
It's not bad. It's a couple of frustration where a lot of times
you have to have some patience because there's actually a lot of backtracking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an open-ended game, but also not really. It's kind of like you go through levels. Imagine playing Mario where you had to go to a level and then you had to go back to the previous level to grab something and then go back to the next level, which is like that. It's kind of like.
There's not too much guiding, but again, put into perspective, that's how a lot of games were back then.
It's basically you have to explore and just find shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would your score be for this game?
For this game, to tell you the truth, I did not finish this game. I got about halfway through it, and it was just I got tired of backtracking and all that stuff. But as far as gameplay, I mean, it wasn't like I was bored and just praying for the game to end. I was actually kind of enjoying it. So overall, I would give it for its time, a 7.4 out of 10. So average. It's kind of a mediocre. It's a decent game. I think it's one of those kind of games where it will have sort of a cult following, and I think it does. I know it's sold over 1 million in copies in Japan alone, so that's some of my inside information.
I would agree. Put into perspective, the game hasn't really aged well, but I know back then, I spent so many hours on the first Ninja Turtle game, and this one was executed overall a lot better. So I know back then I would play it a lot, and for that reason, I'd probably give the game, if it was just judging into other NES games at this time, probably an 8 out of 10. But put it into perspective now, I would probably give it a 6 or 7. But yeah.
So what's your score?
8.
An 8. Okay, 8 out of 10. Okay, that's pretty good. And you did finish the game, right?
Yeah, there's this hack where you can keep on upgrading your life easily by beating this boss. So that's how I beat the game.
Okay.
Alright, in the end, you open the door of peace. There's a rainbow and a little bird floating. Looks like a Disney movie. Spoilers!
Spoilers, everybody. I'm sorry. It's only a 21-year-old game. So cool.
Good math. Wow. Good math.
I took algebra 2. I think I got a C or something. Anyway, so overall, would you recommend this game to someone who's into playing NES games?
Yeah, if you're into old school games, check it out.
Worth checking out?
Yeah, I wouldn't play it. It's not one of the top games for the system. I'd play a lot more games before Rygar, probably 20, 30 more, but it's a fun action game.
So I would agree. It's definitely worth checking out. Some people might just be like, wow, this is garbage. Other people might be like, hey, this is pretty sweet. So I would say definitely worth checking out. So this is going to wrap up our first NES review. Stay tuned for some more. We don't know what game we're going to have because it's totally
random. It's crazy.
It's totally random, people. But if you do have a suggestion of kind of not like a totally known game, but kind of like a unknown game, a lot of people, yeah, we'll check it out. Give us a little heads up in our comments. So anyway, we got to bounce. This is B-Dizzle, Ace Bizzle for the Alex and Bardiya show. Stay cool. Don't do drugs.